Testing 1, 2, 3, Johnsons. All right. We are good to go. Yes. All right. All right. Where's it at? Okay, it's good. Hey, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome, YouTube. That's right, that's it. Just welcome, YouTube. We're not streaming on Facebook tonight. We're just on YouTube. So if you got friends on Facebook, let them know. Come on over to YouTube tonight. Let them know the show is going down, guys. The show is going down. Facebook, no nicey. No nice. So, Wolfpack, I'm Tim Black. If you're new to the show, first time tuning into this thing, this is the Tim Black Show. I am, in fact, Tim Black. Obviously, right? So, I want to say what's up. What we do on Mondays is we do some news. We talk news. We do it from a different point of view, I think, than you'll find anywhere on cable news. Actually, I think it's unique to what you'll find on independent media. I think I have my own thing. So, welcome to it. If you enjoy the show today, become a member of the Wolfpack. Tim Black's Wolfpack. By signing up here or signing up on Patreon. Subscribe to the channel, cut on all your notifications. If you got to unsubscribe and resubscribe and say click the bell for all notifications, do that. Just do it. Do it, Johnson. That's how you get all the updates, because YouTube be whack, man. All right, Johnson. So I call everybody Johnsons. We're all Johnsons. Today I'm rocking the Muhammad Ali commemorative T-shirt. There it is. Doing that, making that happen. We all have to battle adversity sometimes, and he's definitely a champion for adversity, battling adversity. So what's up, guys? Okay, so Mondays we do phone calls. Oh, I got an announcement to make before we get too far down the road into the news we're going to cover. This weekend, in the spirit of Black History Month, this week we're doing something special on the Tim Black Show. We have a series called Inspiring Black Women. Tim Black's Inspiring Black Women series. And in that series, we're going to have black women that are inspiring. The goal is to inspire other black women, bring on inspiring black women, and to also educate others to really the issues concerning black women, what they're dealing with, and also to be inspired by them for all of us. So I hope that all of you will join me for that. The first segment kicked off today with author, PR guru, the PR whisperer, none other than Jennifer R. Farmer. Give it up for Jennifer R. Farmer. Now, Jennifer came through. Great guests. We did we had a great conversation. I hope you guys check that out on my YouTube channel. And check out her new book. Okay, and I think, what was it called? First and Only, A Black Woman's Guide to Thriving at Work and in Life. That's it. First and only. That's it. First and only. It comes out tomorrow, so get the book. It's an incredible book. I covered it. We talked about it, so check it out. Tomorrow, we're going to have Zakiya Sankara Jabbar, who's a Racial Justice Now co-founder and the National Director of Activism and at Brightbeam. Okay? Wednesday, we have none other than Ohio 11th District Congress congressional candidate, Miss Nina Turner, S&T. And then on Friday, we have family medicine expert physician, healthcare activist, Dr. Victoria Dooley. They got an autocomplete that, because I guess they don't recognize the word Dooley, right? The name Dooley. So it autocompletes with Doolittle. And Victoria's like, make sure y'all call me Dooley, not Doolittle up in this joint. Give it up for all those amazing, incredible, inspiring black women. See, I told you the show was different. We don't just have one black woman guest. We have 4 in a week, and it's a series. So we do our thing. We do it different. It's okay. It's okay. You know, we got our own thing, Johnson. You guys ready to get into it? Because we got some stuff to cover. Now, Bernie Sanders sat down with Jay Tapper, State of the Union, had a conversation. Some things he's different with Joe Biden on. You'll be happy to hear that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Cori Bush and the St. Louis jail riot that exposes Fox News and many other morons. Got to talk about that. And also the general nature of smears directed at Cori Bush. Let's see, anything else? Oh, we got to talk about the COVID Superspreader. COVID Superspreader. Got to get into that. But first I want to start with this story because, well, it's got to be said. Let's go. The young man you see in this picture here is a YouTuber by the name of Timothy Wilkes. Now, Timothy Wilkes was 20 years old, or he will forever be 20 years old, because he was killed after he approached a group of people with butcher knives as part of a prank robbery. Get me back on the screen over here. So, you know, YouTube is full of people trying to gain a reputation, trying to be superstars or YouTube stars or internet stars or whatever. And one way they do that is by doing pranks. Timothy Wilkes, his prank was to do a fake robbery. Only problem is, for it to be a prank, the person that you're doing a fake robbery with can't know it's a prank. Yeah, so that's the whole point of it, right? Now, Timothy Wilkes was shot and killed in the parking lot of a Nashville business Friday night after a robbery prank for a YouTube channel that went wrong. This is all according to the police. When the officers got to Urban Air in the city's Hermitage neighborhood about 9:20 p.m., they learned that Timothy Wilkes, 20, and a friend approached a group of people. A group of people, including David Starnes Jr., with butcher knives as part of the prank. Starnes, 23, told detectives he was unaware of the prank and shot Wilkes in self-defense. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department said Saturday in a statement. Starnes has not been charged, but there remains an investigation, an open investigation. The Metropolitan Nashville Police could not be reached by phone or email on Saturday to provide additional details, including the status of the friend who was with Wilkes at the time of his death and whether Starnes had a gun permit. Okay, here we go. I would like to think this would go without saying, but obviously it doesn't go without saying. It's not worth it. Totally not worth it. Totally not the thing to do. A total, like all this time, guys, when I don't get into the prank stuff, never was my cup of tea, so to speak, you know, but whenever I see these crazy things people do, like scaring people randomly on the street, running up to people and punching them or pretending to punch them, just crazy stuff that where I come from, you get punched in the mouth or possibly shot. Always in the back of my head, I questioned if it was real. You know, because I grew up with the WWE. How many people grew up with WWE? Whereas wrestling, you gotta be athletic, you gotta do a lot of practicing, but it's not real. You can still get hurt, don't get me wrong, but it's not real. Like, everybody's into it. It's a choreography. That's what I thought was happening with these pranks. But you mean to tell me that these people are actually risking their lives for a couple of YouTube views? Take it from me, YouTube don't pay that much. And there's no amount of money that you could be paid to go to an early grave at 20 years old over a prank. Now, I want to send my condolences to the family of Timothy Wilkes, but I also want to send some reality checks to people that are moronic, like Timothy Wilkes was. There's a saying that old folks used to tell me when I was coming up. They'd say, a hard head make a soft behind. There's no softer ass than being shot in one's ass for pulling pranks. We got to be smarter than this, guys. We got a COVID pandemic trying to take us out. Okay? We got COVID, we got random shootings, we got terrorists, we got domestic terrorists, we got all types of horrible things happening every day. And you mean to tell me you're going to make it easy to go see if there's an afterlife? You're going to make it easy to leave this existence, the only one you've ever known, by pulling a prank in a state where people can carry guns? Tennessee's a pretty red state, so I didn't look up their gun records or gun laws, but I got a feeling if you got a permit, you can carry a gun in Tennessee. I got a feeling also that Tennessee is a stand your ground place. So you approach a person, a group of people, not just one person, a group of people with knives, and you scare the shit out of them. That's like someone begging to leave here. And if you're begging to leave this planet, somebody will oblige your ass. Somebody will hook you up. Now, I'm not saying this person deserves what they got. But sometimes you get what you pay for. And this is unfortunate, it's sad, it's a culture, it's what happens, it's what people do. Guess it's considered funny. I'm going to urge everybody, stop consuming this type of material. You know what? If people didn't watch dumb pranks like this, people wouldn't do dumb pranks like this. Help them. Save them. Look, save them from themselves. Don't watch pranks where people are risking their lives. Because if there's no money in it, guess what happens? They stop doing it. "20 years old, Johnson. 20. Gone. That's it." All right. Okay, so let's move on to things that are a little bit more, not as dire, but I guess everything's dire, isn't it? Bernie Sanders appeared on Jay Tapper, State of the Union. They had some conversations about some of the current news cycle, the COVID-19, the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill that Joe Biden, that's his bill, talks about that, and other things as well. This is very interesting. So let's go through this clip of Bernie with Tapper, and let's make some comments. Check it out.
Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont. Senator, first of all, Mr. Chairman, first of all, congratulations on the new appointment. So let me ask you, let's get down to work. Speaker Pelosi said Friday she expects the House will send its COVID relief package to the Senate within the next 2 weeks. And from that point on, the ball will be in your court. Do you think that you're going to be able to get this bill passed before unemployment benefits begin to expire in mid-March?
We have to do that. Jake, 2020 was probably the worst year in the modern history of this country. You got millions of people who lost their jobs. People are worried about being evicted. Children are literally in this country going hungry. People in the midst of the pandemic have no health care. We have got to get the vaccine into people's arms as quickly as possible. We've got to reopen our schools. We have enormous crises, and we have got to pass that legislation as soon as we possibly can.
So one of the big sticking points right now in the package is the provision raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Not to get too much in the weeds about Senate language, but the issue here is that the reconciliation process you're using so as to avoid needing 60 votes in the Senate, it requires that the legislation be strictly about budgetary matters. And even President Biden is skeptical that this measure will pass muster. Take a listen.
Apparently that's not going to occur because of the rules of the United States Senate.
So you're saying the minimum wage won't be in this?
My guess is it will not be in it. I put it in, but I don't think it's going to survive.
Now, to be clear, he supports raising the federal minimum wage. He just thinks it's not going to make it into the final bill. You're the Senate Budget Committee chairman. Is President Biden wrong?
Well, I hope he is, Jake. As you indicated, the president supports the $15 an hour minimum wage. I do. Last poll I saw has 62% of the American people supporting it. Because at the end of the day, we are in the midst of massive income and wealth inequality. People on top are doing phenomenally well. And yet we have literally tens of millions of Americans working for starvation wages. You cannot make it in any state in this country on $9 or $10 an hour. We've got to raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. And I can tell you, as chairman of the Budget Committee, we have a room full of lawyers working as hard as we can to make the case to the parliamentarian that, in fact, raising the minimum wage will have significant budget implications and, in fact, should be consistent with reconciliation rules.
All right, okay, so Bernie Sanders here is clearly not saying what Joe Biden wants him to say, which is basically anything that Joe Biden says is correct. Okay, so we know what Joe Biden wants Bernie to say, right? Anybody has any questions about what the elite of the Democratic Party want from Bernie? They want Bernie to be a good soldier. And Bernie's saying, hey, respectfully, you need to get this done. We need this $15 minimum wage. Do I think Bernie should have went further? Yes. Would I rather Bernie said Biden's wrong? That I hope he's wrong. No, he is wrong. He's wrong not to fight to get that $15 minimum wage increase. He's wrong not to be as bullheaded as Trump was. Trump wouldn't be worried about if it was going to turn out that there is no cause for the reconciliation process, that there's no way that you could tie this into a budgetary matter. I believe that anything that you spend, anything that costs money, which is everything in our U.S. government, you can make the argument that it impacts our budget. How could it not? It requires money, right? So why the pussyfooting around? We know why. We know why. We know the reason is Joe Biden's money people, the big donors and the corporations don't want to see a $15 minimum wage increase. Even though we all know that Americans put forth, the productivity of Americans is like the third in the world. We work our asses off already, okay? What doesn't happen in America is keeping up with inflation. The minimum wage is not kept up with the rate of inflation. So employers are getting more work out of us. I looked this up just earlier today for a tweet I was doing. We're ranked third, like behind Norway and like one other country. Of all westernized nations, we have the third highest input. But our wages don't keep pace with that input. So there's no reason at all. These employers who say they can't afford to pay $15 an hour, hey guys, I got a couple, Tim Black with this little tiny YouTube channel, a tenth of many of my other friends, okay? Just keeping it real. I have part-time editors, and you know what I pay them? $15 an hour. I have two part-time editors. I pay them $15 an hour. Hey, I hate to put that out there, but if Tim Black, a YouTube guy, a guy on YouTube, an independent media creator that's on YouTube and Roku and a couple other places, can manage somehow to pay $15 an hour, you mean to tell me that these other corporations can't pay it? Joe Biden's money people can't pay it? His bag men can't pay it? They don't want to pay it. Is it expensive? Yes, it is expensive. So what do? When I can't pay more, I just do it myself. And that's what employers should have to do. If you can't pay $15 an hour, you need to do it yourself. Don't give me the bullshit about you can't do it so people don't deserve to have a livable wage. And this is part-time workers I'm talking about, not full-time workers. All right. So let's go back. Bernie has more to say. Jake's going to ask more questions. Let's check that out. No.
Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont.
You've got to get the vaccine into people.
Take a listen.
Apparently that's not.
He just thinks it's not going to make it into the final bill. You're the Senate Budget Committee chairman. Is President Biden wrong?
Well, I hope he is, Jake. As you indicated, the president supports the $15 an hour minimum wage. I do. A last poll I saw has 62% of the American people supporting it, because at the end of the day, we are in the midst of massive income and wealth inequality. People on top are doing phenomenally well, and yet we have literally tens of millions of Americans working for starvation wages. You cannot make it in any state in this country on $9 or $10 an hour. We've got to raise that minimum wage to $15 an hour. And I can tell you, as chairman of the Budget Committee, we have a room full of lawyers working as hard as we can to make the case to the parliamentarian that, in fact, raising the minimum wage will have significant budget implications and, in fact, should be consistent with reconciliation rules.
During the campaign, you were running for president, and you said whoever you picked as VP would overrule the parliamentarian in order to pass legislation such as Medicare for All with just 51 votes. Should Vice President Harris do that, overrule the parliamentarian to keep the minimum wage increase in this bill?
Well, before we get to what the vice president is going to do, I got to get through the parliamentarian, and then I got to get 50 votes in support of raising that minimum wage to $15 an hour. But I am working as hard as I can to make that happen. In America, people should not be working 40 or 50 hours a week and living in poverty. We've got to raise that minimum wage, which, Jake, has not been raised, unbelievably, since 2007.
Even if it makes it into the bill, you're going to need every Democrat on board. And West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin says he does not support increasing the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. He has suggested he could get behind a lower amount, such as $11 an hour, which I think is what the rate is in West Virginia. Would you be willing to compromise in order to get Manchin's vote?
Now, I strongly look, a $15 an hour minimum wage is not a radical idea. Making $600 a week in the United States of America, barely, given the high cost of rent and all the other living expenses that people have to pay, that's not a lot of money. So these are debates that we're going to have within the Democratic caucus. But I hope and believe that at the end of the day, the members of the Democratic caucus understand that we do need to pass a $15 an hour minimum wage.
Then when it comes to the COVID relief checks, President Biden said Friday he's open to lowering the threshold of who qualifies for the checks. One idea being floated in the Senate, included by some Democrats, is to phase out checks for individuals making more than $50,000 a year. You called that proposal unbelievable and said, quote, in other words, working class people who got checks from Trump would not get them from Biden. Brilliant. Obviously, you're being sarcastic there. It's clear you don't support it. You heard Janet Yellen earlier in the show. She said, obviously, she thinks that somebody who makes $60,000 a year should be getting these relief checks, but she wasn't willing to commit to $75,000. Where do you think the cutoff should be?
Well, I think what we have done in the past and what we have promised the American people, we've said two things in the last month. We said we're going to get you $2,000, and that's $600 plus $1,400. And what we're going to do is say that everybody, a single person, individual, $75,000 or lower, and a couple of $150,000.
So we got to stop there because I'm going to have to break that into sections there because that's too much. We got to stop there because I don't want this to run into each other. Because I got one point I agree with them on and a point that I'm about to blast them on a little bit. Got to do it, Johnson. Look, lowering the threshold is stupid. Bernie's face said it all. His tweet said it all. I'm wondering if those people that are very critical of Bernie are going to give him any credit for challenging Biden on this and saying, brilliant. Very sarcastic statement. He didn't back away from that. It's easy to say, hey, be tough when you're not the guy that has to be tough. You're not the guy challenging the powerful president of the United States. Not challenging the party, not even in the party. We got people now who aren't Democrats, who aren't challenging any power, criticizing Bernie for not going harder, and when he does go hard, they don't even cover it. When we going to see what people's real agendas here are? Look, man, if you're on the right, just say it. It's okay. Just say you're a right-winger. Because if this guy, Bernie's saying, Hey, brilliant, making a sarcastic tweet, brilliant, this is dumb, and comparing Joe Biden to Donald Trump, saying, so at the end of the day, you lowering the threshold will mean that Trump did more for American people than you are. If that's not called a sucker punch, I don't know what is, Johnson. What's the problem? Because he didn't drop a bunch of F-bombs and threaten to wait for him outside, it's not considered hardball? All I'm saying is, call it straight. That's all. Be fair. Don't be a hypocrite. It's okay to be critical. I'm about to be critical right now. But you know what I'm also capable of doing? Admitting he did a good job right there. Admitting he held fast on his stance. But now, here comes the criticism. Bernie Sanders. $2,000 is $2,000. $1,400 is $1,400. You don't get to say, you gave me $2,000 and count what somebody else gave me. You don't get to tell me you're going to give me $2,000, then you talk about the former person who gave me $600 as being a part of the $2,000 you give me. No, you're a separate person. This does not help instill trust. Now, I realize that maybe you've calculated, Bernie, that this is a hill not to die on. There's nothing you can do about it. You'll hold his feet to the fire on other issues and he'll owe you one. Maybe that's the case. I would like to believe that. Problem is, we're not in the believing mood. We don't trust Biden. We just don't. And I think you know better than to trust him yourself. It's not good to toe the line on this. I think universally speaking, most people want $2,000. Look, they want $2,000 a month. Hell, we could make the argument that it should be $3,000 a month, retroactive to last year, around this time. So the last thing that needs to happen here is this. So I totally disagree with Bernie's stance on this. This fuzzy math doesn't add up at all. All right, let's check out the rest of this. There's more to it. See, it's not that hard. You can be critical and keep it straight. It's possible. Next.
Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont. President Biden said Friday he's open. She said, obviously, she thinks that somebody
of $150,000 or lower will be eligible for that full $2,000, $600 plus $1,400. Now, when people said we don't want rich people to get that benefit, I understand that. I agree. And what we need to do is have a strong cliff so it doesn't kind of spill over to people making $300,000. And that's what I support, and that's what I think most people understand. But to say to a worker in Vermont or California or any place else that if you're making, $52,000 a year, you are too rich to get this help, the full benefit, I think that that's absurd. And it's also, from a political point of view, a little bit absurd that you would have under Trump these folks getting the benefit, but under Biden, who is fighting hard for the working class of this country, they would not get that full benefit. So I think from a policy point of view, we've got to do the right thing, and that's $75,000 and $150,000 for a couple. From a political point of view, it is absurd to be telling working class people, somebody who has a decent union job, they're making $55,000, $60,000, sorry, you're not eligible for the program. Makes no sense to me at all, nor do I think it makes sense to the American people.
That's right. So I'm glad that Bernie ended on that note, reiterating the point that is very positive with the people and people understand it. I don't see a lot of difference between 50,000 and 75,000. I mean, I know there's a difference. One number is a little slightly bigger than the other. But it's got to be rich. You know, it's something else. It's beyond the pale for people that make, I don't know, 150, 160. Well, how much do you make in Congress? 130? I don't know what it is. Well, most Congress people, most senators are millionaires, right? Multi-millionaires. Most Congress people are doing pretty well, except maybe our freshman Congress people are doing pretty well. It's the height of hypocrisy, right? It's cruddy, right? It's dirty pool. For you to make all of this, you know, for you to be comfortable, have all your insurance taken care of, have the best insurance in the world, no fear of being laid off unless we can get you voted out, right? And then begrudge people and say if you make over $50,000, you make too much money to be helped during a pandemic. That right there, folks, that's a slap in the face. That's some insulting BS. 75,000. I think 75,000 was too low a threshold. I mean, at the end of the day, unless you're very wealthy, this money's going right back into the economy, man. Yeah, I agree. $300,000 a household, that's a lot. You're doing okay. Maybe don't buy the new pair of Louboutins. Maybe don't buy the new whatever, right? Don't get the new platinum whatever you got going on. You don't need a refrigerator or a freezer like Nancy Pelosi. You know, so no, you don't need maybe you don't need the stimulus. But hey, I would say $100,000 each. Because any working person, anybody who just has a job who's not well off, they're gonna put that money back in the economy. So this means testing, all it does at this point for this is divide us up unnecessarily. And not to mention what people were making before the pandemic has no bearing on what they make now. Now, some people are doing better than they did pre-pandemic, but most people aren't. Okay, so yeah, okay. So I'm glad that Bernie finished strong on that point. Good job, Bernie. Hate the fuzzy math. Everything else I think he did pretty solidly. Oh, reopening schools. We're not reopening schools until you can assure me that my granddaughter gonna be okay. Schools, daycares, stop talking about reopening anything. Reopen your hearts. That's what you need to reopen. And reopen some medical books and let the science decide. That goes for Bernie, that goes for Biden, that goes for the entire Democratic Party. All this time they chastise Trump about not paying attention to the science. Well, the science says we have variant strains that are occurring that are even more contagious than the earlier strains. And now you want to talk about opening schools? That's a critical. I'll tell you that I'm a hell of an analyst, aren't I? But see, that way I don't have to use a lot of words. We know that's universal for get the hell out of here, right? All right. Next story. There was a riot in St. Louis. In the St. Louis jail, there were riots in the St. Louis jail because many of the inmates there are worried they're going to catch COVID-19. Yeah, there's no social distancing. Now, this is not just pertinent to this one jail, but in this particular facility, the inmates are afraid of catching COVID-19. They have no way to social distance. They don't have the proper PPE, no mask, or they've given one mask a week, or some crazy stuff, right? And they're around other inmates who are sick, visibly sick. And the jails only required to test 10% of the population. And according to the jails, no one's infected, but we have inmates within this jail who are very worried. Very worried for their lives. So over the weekend, there was some riots in this St. Louis jail. An inmate revolt at St. Louis criticized for the conditions under which inmates are housed has caused advocates and legislators to call for increased protections for inmates as the COVID-19 pandemic continues. Fox News got one of this. And of course, everyone's reporting on it. Friend of the show and new Congresswoman Cori Bush commented on this herself. What was her tweet? Her tweet was, the U.S. has an incarceration crisis. To date, 1 in 5 incarcerated people nationally has tested positive for COVID-19, including many across the city of St. Louis. She continued, I am calling for complete transparency and accountability from the city of St. Louis. Officials must publicly disclose the city's COVID-19 testing protocols, case rate, hospitalization rate, and vaccination plans. She says the voices of currently and formerly incarcerated people must be centered in this work. The people closest to the problems are closest to the solutions. So, while this protest is going on, the inmates held the prison for like 6 hours. There was one guard who was hurt. The inmates are demanding proper heat, PPE, as I stated, proper clothing. They want proper visits from their families, and they want to be protected from COVID-19. Okay, so here goes Fox News reporting on this because they have a weird take on this situation. Check it out.
Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush is under fire for defending Saturday's riot at a St. Louis jail. The Democrat used a Martin Luther King Jr. quote to defend inmates setting fires and smashing windows in the prison. The uprising left an officer injured. She tweeted, "A riot is the language of the unheard. I want to talk to my constituents in the window. Their lives and their rights must be protected. My team and I are working to ensure that the urgent needs of people who are incarcerated are not ignored." Critics are blasting her as hypocritical for making these comments weeks after she condemned the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Sandra?
Yeah. Yeah, boy. Okay, here we go. Yep. One thing's, man, about Fox News. You always know what you're going to get. Yeah, no surprises. You're not going to cut on Fox and get transparency, honesty, a narrative that's based in reality. Damn it. Yeah, at least you can count on it to be horrible. Nowhere in that report, that brief report, they didn't mention anything about what the inmates are protesting about, what the problem is, why the inmates are raising and staging an uprising, or why they staged an uprising or revolt. Nothing in there about COVID-19. Nothing in there about masks. Nowhere is it even listed that the majority of these protesters or the inmates that staged this, they're preliminary. They have preliminary hearings. They haven't been convicted. It's a jail. People go to jail who can't make bail. People go to jail while they wait to go to court. There are people there for as little as traffic violations who couldn't make bail, who now think they're going to catch COVID because they're around people who are coughing and wheezing. Now, that doesn't matter to this Fox News host. Nor does it matter to all of the other delusional, moronic Trump supporters who are in the comments section going after Cori Bush on this. Because to them, these people should die. They hear the word jail, and they think killer. As if killers don't have rights. They do. All American citizens should have rights. But you get what I'm saying, right? They immediately assume everyone's a strangler. Everyone's a domestic terrorist like their friends. If this was a jail full of Kyle Rittenhouses, they would applaud it. They would say, yeah, Kyle, go ahead. Yeah, Kyle. Because, see, it's all about the color, and if they relate to you. So don't relate to these inmates. I stand by it. If we said if they thought that those men in that jail who were holding up the jail, if they thought those men were Kyle Rittenhouse and his friends, they'd be okay with it. If they thought it was Clive and Bundy and the Bundy Ranch guys, they'd be fine with it. See, because it's all about ideology. And it's all about their bigotry and their biases. Another point. And this is the cherry on the top of the cake. They're comparing inmates who are afraid that they're going to catch COVID-19 and die, awaiting trial in shitty conditions. They're comparing that to people who were outside the U.S. Capitol, who invaded the U.S. Capitol, smeared feces on walls, stole equipment, threatened, and caused loss of life. They're comparing these things, that these things are not the same at all, but somehow the comparison is there. In one group, we got people who are afraid for their lives, who must do something to get some media attention, to get some help. And the other side, we got people who are pissed off, basically, because their Lord and Savior Donald Trump lost an election. And they don't know how else to act except to act out. We're talking about a level of hypocrisy that's off the charts, Johnson. You know, it's come to my attention that there's a lot of this type of double standards being aimed at Cori Bush. Cori Bush, these are her people. She's a representative from St. Louis. Okay? She needs to stand with her people on this. She needs to find out why are the inmates protesting, what are the conditions inside of that jail, and demand a response. That's her job. These people in her comments section, these people riding her on Twitter, they don't live in Missouri, nor do they give a damn about her constituents. Cori's doing her job. And I guess maybe they're doing their job too. Being morons, uninformed, tools of Donald Trump. Well, look, I ride with Cori Bush on this. And like I said, it's come to I've been noticing an upsurge, an uptick of people coming for Cori Bush, coming for Jamal Bowman. I mean, these people just got in office. Are we sure that this is about her tweet, not about something else, Johnson? Are we sure your problems with Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Ilhan Omar are about their politics and not about something else? I mean, it just seems a little strange. It just seems a little too consistent. Seems like you may have a little bigotry on you in your system. There's a little something going on here. I'm going to be paying attention to Cori Bush. I'm going to be paying attention to Jamal Bowman. And it's not because they need Tim Black. No, I'm sure they can take it. They can handle it. Cori Bush was on the front lines during the Missouri uprisings in Ferguson. So she can handle herself. But I'm going to be paying extra special attention to how the online soldiers, how they attack Congresswoman Bush. I see a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of smears. And I think if you're truly on the left, and I don't mean just on the left to be on the left, but actually believe in the principles of the left, I think you should stand with me. And you should stand with Cori Bush. It's her job to protect her constituents. COVID-19, we're in the midst of a pandemic. Inmates are human beings. They are citizens. They're under the care of our institutions, and they should be protected. They have every right to be protected as anyone else. And they deserve to be not put in a situation where they could die unnecessarily or catch this disease and this illness unnecessarily. And that's exactly what they're being set up to do right now. So anyway, instead of using all your energy complaining about what the squad does, how about a little bit of energy supporting the squad when they're fighting for their people, which is what they're supposed to do. And I know it's not sexy, but it is Cori Bush's job to fight for her people, and that's what she's doing. She was on the other foot. You wanted to fight for you if she was your constituent. All right. Last but not least, this right here is, so we got inmates, and I guess this is a great segue because we have inmates in the St. Louis jail who are fighting to stay alive, and we got morons going to a Super Bowl fighting to die. Testing death. Don't believe me? Here it goes.
It's what health officials pleaded for the public to avoid. Crowded streets, bars, and restaurants fueling fears of a Super Bowl Superspreader event. The large gatherings unfolding as millions of Americans watch the game, many with those they don't live with, as new variants spread across the country.
Having Super Bowl events in households is exactly the setup for this set of variants to take a stronger hold. And unfortunately, unlike before, the viral spread will happen much faster.
With the Brazilian variant now found in a new state, Oklahoma, 2 new studies, not yet peer-reviewed, offer troubling insight into the UK strain. Researchers believe the variant is doubling every 10 days. The risk of dying from the variant may also be 35% higher.
The encouraging news is that the vaccines that we're currently distributing right now are quite effective against that particular variant.
Having just marked the 1-year anniversary of the first COVID death in the U.S., our nation continues to close in on 500,000 fatalities. On Sunday, Congressman Ron Wright lost his battle at the age of 67. Respiratory therapist Rufino Rodriguez was just 6 months from retirement.
He's been my friend and my brother, my co-worker for all these years.
Hoping to save lives and ramp up vaccine distribution, Pfizer is hoping to cut production time from 110 days to roughly 60 days, an effort to ease the vaccination logjam.
We have some stupid people. Stupid, foolish, irresponsible morons. That's what we have. People that want to go to a football game so badly that they're willing to die for it. No, they're not actually in the game, playing the game, taking care of their families. No. They're not faced with the decision to decide, should they go on the field and put themselves in harm's way doing a sport that they've been training for their entire lives, at the pinnacle of their professions. That would be a hard decision to make. Hey, should I go play football? Should I go play in the Super Bowl? I may never get this opportunity again. They never come again. No, these people don't have to make that type of hard, gut-wrenching decision. These couldn't decide to stay home to watch. No, not even to watch. To go outside and act a fool in the streets about a game that they're not getting paid to play. Now, I know. Once upon a time, hey, back in the day, I remember being outside, being at an event. The Washington football team won the Super Bowl. Doug Williams was the quarterback. I think he was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I remember it being cold as hell. I remember catching a flu. But I didn't know I was going to catch the flu, or there was a possibility of catching the flu. And it damn sure was not a pandemic raging through Washington at the time. These people know. They know people are dying. And they say, whatever. You see them? Ah! Yeah! You're going to see them in a couple weeks from now. Look, I'm not, on this channel, I don't wish death on anyone. At least I try not to. But there's got to be something between wishing well and wishing death that's not like, oh, I know what it is. It is what it is. I mean, if you put yourself in this situation, and you think it's cute to go outside, to go run through a mob, to just willy-nilly pretend that what's happening in the world ain't really happening in the world. Look, I know there are people that don't believe this is real. I know that. I get it. Stay away from other people. Yeah, like my thing is, you want to risk your life, fine. Just quarantine yourself away from everybody else, because there are children, there are people with pre-existing conditions, there are older folks. There's all types of other people that you can give this thing to that you don't believe exists. And they don't deserve to go because you, my gutsy, courageous friend, or my blockaded friend, my thick-skulled friend, my QAnon supporting friend, or whatever you call yourselves, foolhardy friend, don't think there's a problem. Don't think there's a threat. Look, even if you're on the fence about some of this stuff, even if you think you're young and you can live forever, which you cannot, no one does, there's got to be a little part of you, little bit, maybe just a little inkling in the back of your head that maybe I should be smarter. That's the part of yourself you should be listening to, not other morons around you saying, yeah, man, rock out, dude, yeah. Hell, what the hell, man? We need more space at the DMV anyway. Hey, man, I hate lines at the DMV. You want to help cut down on the lines at the DMV? Fine, I'd be okay with it. Problem is, you're going to come home and get that to grandma. You're going to get that to grandpa. And they don't deserve it, Johnson. They don't deserve it. Because it doesn't just stay with you. If it stayed with you, I'm cool with that, man. Go with God. These people. And hell, man. If you didn't know Tom Brady was going to win, I don't know what planet you live on anyway. What's the point? Kind of obvious, man. I cut that off. I watched like all of 5 minutes. Anyway, okay, guys. I'm Tim Black. Follow me at Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. On Instagram, I am Tim Black at night. Follow me there. Tomorrow, my guest is Zakira. Zakira's dope. We got the special series of inspiring black women in celebration of the Black History Month, which should be Black History 2021, the year of Black History. And be here for that, and we'll give you updates on it. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and check out my interview with the great PR whisperer herself, Jennifer Farmer. And yeah, I think that'll do it. We'll be back here tomorrow. The phone lines will be open. I love opening phone lines. Be here for that. I'm doing my best, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in tomorrow. Pick up the phone, make a phone call, be a part of the conversation. That it? I think that's it, Johnson. Let's go to the comment section, see what we got. Yeah, baby. Tony says, we need to raise the minimum wage. It's extremely important to me. Yeah, Tony, you know what? Here's the thing. And I'm glad you brought that up, Tony. Tony D. Give it up for Tony D. And give it up for all my moderators who are able to check in tonight. Thank you, moderators in the chat. I appreciate you. Tony D, raising the minimum wage would not happen overnight. I mean, it would get raised, but this $15 minimum wage, I think they said they're going to phase it in over 4 years. So we have cheap, hypocritical, moderate Democrats, who I like to call conservative Democrats, who I call Republicans. I mean, this is Republican. That's just say it. Won't you you're a Republican. Oh, I'm a libertarian with domestic, fiscally conservative libertarian. Just call yourself a Republican, man. I ain't got time for this shit. You don't think that, you don't want to support minimum wage increase. First of all, most of the country supports it. Like most people, yeah. Because they know corporations going to raise prices anyway. They always do. You don't you think that all these corporations raising prices, they just do it like, I know Comcast raises their prices whenever they feel like it. They don't wait till I get a raise to raise prices. So that's fair tactic. Well, if we raise the minimum wage 50 cents, then all the jobs will go away because then they have to pay 50 more cents, and they can't do that. It's BS. Total BS, Johnson. George Shell's in the house. What's up, George? Good to see you, man. Adam Berger. What did Adam Berger say? He said, Amanda Gorman shines again at the Super Bowl. Best part of the game. I missed it, but I will watch it on repeat. I will watch a replay of her. She's phenomenal. Give it up for Amanda Gorman. She's magic. Oh, man, to be young and gifted and black. Wow. Amazing. What's up, America? What's the number one thing white folks should do to aid in creating an equal foothold for African Americans in this economy? Support reparations. Support reparations. Don't fall for the okie doke such as, opportunity zones. Don't fall for that. That's nonsense. Tim Scott full of shit. Opportunity zones, no. This missed opportunity zone is what that is, okay? That's an opportunity for people with money to make more money in depressed areas and create more gentrification. That's what that is. No, we need, so here's what you do. Hire some black people. Yeah, hire them. That's what you do. You hire them and give them opportunity. Tell your cousins who own businesses to hire a black person. I mean, the most diverse who has the most diverse corporations in America, companies in America? Black folks. Yeah, like 30% of our employees are white. Black employers hire more white people than white folks hire black people. I'm just saying, Johnson, it is what it is. So that would be a good place to start. Because those black people typically have black family members who come to them when they need money. There that is. Tony says, the President, Bernie Sanders, wouldn't give a F about bipartisanship. No, he would not. He would not care. And I hope as time goes on, as Bernie becomes more and more soured with Joe Biden, dragging his feet on every godforsaken thing, hope he cares less about Joe Biden and just goes in. Let's hope Bernie has a short fuse at some point. Who's this? Cheryl Ivan Epps. We need to see the narrative in pace. ADOS reparations, Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and federal job guarantee. We need to set the narrative in pace. We do. And I support everything they listed there. Medicare for all, I support that. Who doesn't? Federal job guarantee. I also support a UBI, but not a UBI where two Princeton graduates who are lawyers get more money than a single mother with 3 kids. I don't support that kind of UBI. That's means testing. Nah, that's basic math. That's basic math. So, no, means testing is if you make $50,000, you make too much money to get a stimulus. But saying somehow in a UBI that two parents, 2 lawyers living in, in a bungalow, man, Upper East Side or whatever, Upper West Side of New York, making $150,000 a piece because it's 2 of them, should get more money than a single mom in Yonkers. That don't make sense to me. So, yeah. Got to have a little bit of common sense. Roger Meadows, no less than $6,000 a month, Johnson. My brother, man, my brother. That's when you go get you some stocks. That's crazy. All of a sudden, if we got $6,000 in my, I know my cousin be like, yo, Tim, man, I got this hook up on a Swedish bank account, off-season account, Johnson. I don't know nothing about Swedish, but I put my money somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Because Uncle Sam be taxing the brother, man. Like, yeah, you're right, Johnson. Who is it? What's his name? Got an email address? Melissa. Melissa become a member of the Wolfpack. Melissa, give it up for Melissa, y'all. This is me ringing the bell for Melissa. Welcome to the Tim Black Wolfpack, Melissa. Be here tomorrow. We do this again. As a Wolfpack member, you get all the videos. We do at least 4 shows a month. I'm sorry, 4 shows a week, Johnson. 4 shows a week. 20 shows a month. Plus extras. Like this week, it's another additional 4. So instead of 4 shows, you get 8 shows. Because we're going to double time it. That's what we're going to work, just 2 shows a week. I'm doing 2 shows a day. I'm sorry. I'm doing 2 shows a day this week. Because I love my job, Johnson. And it's celebrating black women. Come on now. Inspiring black women. All right. Nisi said, I want a Don't Take My Cornbread Johnson sweatshirt. I got one, but I don't have the Johnson. Don't Take My Cornbread. I got that. And I have it in a sweatshirt. Go to timblacktv.com. I guess I could put Johnson on the end. No one takes my cornbread, Johnson. We could do that. We could work that out. You know what I'm saying? Woo! I think we had a good show tonight, man. Give it up for everybody who stuck around for it. I appreciate you. Share it with a friend. Let people know you found a show that tells it like it is. And you recommend it. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow. Be safe, Johnson. Remember, don't let nobody take your cornbread, and sprinkle some facts on them and get out of there. I'm Tim Black. Holla at your boy or your uncle.
Don't nana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.
Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.